The call to defund SPD by 50% was a key demand by protesters at the CHOP. But how? On GMA, Police Chief Carmen Best said the city is asking for ideas.
We want to have a community-led re-envisioning, if you will, of policing and how it works, the amount of work that they want us to do, the way people want us to respond.
And that's what the city council heard today, ideas.
Spending the money that's currently on police on things like free and universal housing, healthcare, food, childcare, and that would prevent property crime more than anything else. Council
members heard from a select panel of the community saying the re-envision Best talks about should include non-criminal 911 calls going toward community responders and not police.
But the model that we're talking about is really about having folks from the communities that are impacted be the ones who are doing the response.
And that means a re-envisioning of the city's 911 response system. Of the 274,000 911 calls in Seattle last year, 56% were of a non-criminal nature.
Moving the non-criminal emergency to trained social workers, that is very important because that's a big portion of what we're talking about.
Going forward, the mayor has proposed a 5% cut of SPD's budget over the last 5 months of this year. That's $20 million. A 50% cut would be $85 million. The council has the power to do that. At least 3 members say they want that or more.
Not just to dismantle the police department and the kind of structure that we have there that we know is inherently racist.
In Seattle, Matt Markovich, KOMO News.
Molly, Officer Ellie says she's really frustrated and disheartened. She told us that she is not frustrated with the peaceful protesters and has had a lot of conversations with them about having change. But she is upset with people who are violent and have been targeting police officers to hurt them like she was hurt.
I'm feeling hurt physically and emotionally. I didn't expect this to happen.
Physically, Officer Ellie is torn apart. But it's her broken spirit that bothers her the most.
We're human beings behind the badge. We are people just like them. We decided to do this for a living because who else is going to do it?
Nearly 3 years on the force, one of the most violent calls for her was the chaotic riot at the East Precinct last weekend. SPD says protesters set buildings on fire and threw explosives, bottles, and rocks at officers. One of those rocks hit her leg. Now she has a torn meniscus needing surgery.
A rock's coming, you move, you dodge it. It's a scene like no other. It was surreal. I felt like I was in the middle of a movie.
Officer Ellie says she never expected to be an officer. As a little girl growing up in Lebanon, her family worked for a better life and emigrated to America. But after an internship with SPD, she became one of the only Arab-speaking officers.
And they'll just be shocked. Like, you know, when I walk in, I talk to them in Arabic, they're like, wow, you're a police officer? Like, you're a real police officer? So, yeah.
She worries she won't be able to serve her community with the proposal to defund SPD by 50%.
We will not have enough officers to respond if something big happens.
As her wounds heal, she hopes the divide between protesters and police will too.
It just feels very unfair that people are hating Seattle police so much when we try so hard. We're not perfect, but we try.
When Brandon Leyritz bought this duplex, one side was already occupied by tenants, and he moved into the other half. Then things went south.
Really, the last payment I received from them was in January. And at that point, they were thousands and thousands of dollars past due.
Desperate to cover his mortgage, Leyritz offered to forgive all their back rent if they would just leave, but the family wasn't interested. Leyritz was desperate.
I had to move out of the unit I was living in and rent that out so I can get some income.
Leyritz says he might still be homeless, but an accidental fire made the house uninhabitable. And a few weeks ago, the tenants moved out. On average, only 9% of rent goes into landlord's pocket. The rest covers the mortgage, repairs, property taxes, and more. Another landlord says she took a second job when her tenant, who also works, stopped paying.
I shouldn't have to work 2 full-time jobs to support 2 households because of an eviction ban that was put in play.
Governor Jay Inslee's eviction moratorium is in place at least through mid-October. It's a huge help for renters, but property owners say the state left them on their own.
It's creating a really tough situation because we're kind of the untold story.
Well, here's the deal. One option for landlords is to work with their banks to delay mortgage payments, but it's known as a forbearance, and it can really impact their chances of ever getting a future loan.
On Monday, this place was packed. We couldn't find a place to sit. And today, it's like absolutely deserted.
Olga Aptiniak has seen the same large gatherings we first showed you on the Kirkland waterfront weeks ago.
You identified an issue that we knew that we were having.
Now the city has shut down the dock and parking lot at Houghton Beach Park and the dock at David Brink Park.
I know that they're just doing their job. They're trying to protect the community from this virus. But at the same time, there could be like restrictions put on the dock instead of completely shutting it down.
First, the city shut down the volleyball court where large groups of young people had been hanging out.
I know people are going to be disappointed. It's summer, it's warm, it's beautiful.
City leaders say the drastic measures are necessary. Under the governor's Safe Start plan, group sizes can't be bigger than 5 people. Plus, we all have to wear masks in any public space. That includes if we're outside and can't stay 6 feet apart.
When we have groups of 500 people down at the beach, hundreds of people on the dock, we're getting a lot of concerns from community members not feeling safe to come to the park. We have to take action.
Action city leaders know might be tough to enforce, but hope will change behavior. We did see Kirkland police walking through the park, making sure people are staying safe. And beach ambassadors have been handing out thousands of masks.
I understand the problem, but you can still maintain 6 feet in the water. You can still maintain 6 feet even on the dock.
Anna Aguilar says it's unfortunate for people who have been following the rules.
Then those people need to stay home if they're not going to follow the rules.
And city leaders say there is a chance the docks will be open again if people just follow the rules, because they get it. It is summer and they want people to enjoy this gorgeous waterfront. In Kirkland, Temi Mutasa, KOMO News.